I got into video games at a young age, around 5 or 6 years old, and the first game I've ever played, Plants vs. Zombies, continues to be one of my favorite games of all time. I've always loved video games, from the edutainment games such as Jumpstart or the old Thomas the Tank Engine PC games like Building the New Line, all the way up to MMOs like Toontown or Wizard 101. But there's one facet of video games that holds a very special place in my heart due to its unmatched charm and pure nostalgia. Hello everybody, my name is SullyDog7, or Sully for short, and welcome back to the channel, or if you're new here, welcome to hell. Today I'll be talking about a topic that I hold near and dear to my heart, Flash games. These are games that were popularized in the mid-2000s and ran on the now defunct Flash Player. Unfortunately, Flash Player took a dive into the deep end of the internet graveyard at the end of 2020, and you can no longer play all of the beloved games that we all once knew. Or at least that's what I would say, if there wasn't a program you could download called Flashpoint that allows you to play most of, if not all, of the Flash games that built your childhood. Flashpoint has over 170,000 Flash games for you to play so you can relive the days of your youth. In this video, I'm going to be talking about some games that I used to play all the time as a kid. I'm going to be playing them and also giving my honest opinion about what I think of the games now that I'm older and have a somewhat fully functioning brain. So enough yapping about these games, let's get into yapping about and playing these games. So I recorded the footage for these games and did the audio separately, so I'm just voicing over the footage here instead of commentating while playing. Just thought I'd get that out of the way. Anyway, the first game we have in this video is Papa's Freezeria. This game is part of the Papa Louie series of games where you take orders for customers and make the food for said customers, who then give you points based on how you did with their order. As a kid, this was my favorite out of the Papa Louie games, and it still is. As I said before, this game actually did get a Steam release that added a lot of new ingredients and new features that weren't in the Flash version. So let's take a look at the Steam version and make some comparisons to the Flash version. First thing you notice when you start up a file on the Steam version is the fact that there is a character creator. On my personal file, I tried my best to make Peppino from the hit game Pizza Tower, and I think I did a pretty good job. However, for the sake of time, I just went with Alberto for this video. Another thing you notice is that the crustiness of the Flash version is completely gone, which is a good thing, but it also somewhat takes away from the nostalgia a little bit. You'll also notice, as I make the milkshakes here, the HUD is completely different because of the new ingredients they added. I must say, the fact that they decided to remake this game out of all the other possible Papa Louie games they could have remade is pretty sweet. Pun entirely intended. As I said earlier, Freezeria is my favorite of the Papa Louie games, so when I found out they made a deluxe version of it with more features, I was pretty happy to say the least. Also this! The minigames you can play after each day are pretty cool, but again, for the sake of time, I didn't get any footage of them. Wait, what's that alarm for? Holy fuck, it's Kahuna. Everyone except Kahuna out of the store immediately. I need to sink all of my time and effort into this absolute unit's order. Jokes aside, Kahuna is a cool character and probably my favorite customer in this game. I also really like how, while waiting for their orders to be finished, the customers would do a little things on their phone in the lobby. It just adds some life to the game that you don't see a lot in modern gaming. And yes, that does sound very back in my day, but I think having details like this in a video game is just so cool. Anyway, I think I've talked about Freezeria a bit too much now. Kinda got caught up in the greatness of it, but with such a strong start to the video, I think it's time for the next game. The next game we have on this video is SpongeBob Boo or Boom. This is a game I played a lot as a kid, but unlike Papa's Freezeria, I don't see a lot of people talking about this one, and there's probably a reason for that. It's not because the game is bad, in fact it's far from it. I think it's just because it's a SpongeBob Flash game, and people my age don't really care for SpongeBob like I do. They think it's childish or stupid. But I think that seasons 1 through 3, and even some of 4 and 5, is peak comedy. Anyway, back to the game. This game is pretty much just Bomberman, but with some SpongeBob characters. The 4 playable characters are SpongeBob himself, Patrick, Squidward, and Sandy. They're all in little costumes too, except for Sandy, who literally just put a cowboy hat on and called it a day. Even SpongeBob did something with his costume, while still being just a hat. It's at least something Halloween related, being a pumpkin. This game is pretty fun. I like the simplicity of it. For example, the core gameplay is very simple. I'd play for hours if I could, and there's only 3 levels. What makes this game so cool is that no matter how much you play, it's going to be fun every time without fail. Each level is different too. The first level is just a simple layout with these buildings that if you surround them in your color, they get painted and give you extra points. I want to add too that while recording the footage for this video, this motherfucker Patrick almost made me lose the first round, but being the absolute gamer that I am, I was able to clutch and win. The painting mechanic is what gives you points, and at the end of the 2-minute round, whoever has the most points wins. Each round, new things get added to the grid. On the second level, the Krusty Krab is there, and you can paint that too to get even more points. And the third level has the Chum Bucket, which is more or less the same as the Krusty Krab, but with salmonella. With all that being said, it is time to move on to the next game, which is Super Mario Crossover. This game is really fucking cool. A platformer game in which you play through 2D Mario levels. Now that might sound generic and boring at first, but then the gimmick comes in and blows your socks right off. You may be wondering to yourself,
what is the gimmick of this game?
And that would be a valid question considering I was right about to talk about it. Yeah man, this is pretty tough to explain. As you can probably tell by looking at this character select screen and the title of the game, Super Mario Crossover is a Mario game where you play as a whole bunch of characters. You can get Mario and Luigi, but then you have characters like Link, Samus, Simon Belmont, Mega Man, Bass, Bill from Contra, Ryu from Ninja Gaiden, and this thing called JC 3. You can also change the map skin and enemy skin, which have a lot of different styles. All the playable characters also have different costumes that they can use, some of them being style swaps like the Atari skins, which are some of my favorite, and some of them being entirely different characters like Bass having a skin that turns him into Skullman, and Simon having a skin that turns him into this guy. I'm gonna call him Grungly Skungly. Anyway, the gameplay is pretty simple. You just go through the different 2D Mario levels, which in my recording for this video, I use the SMB1 map pack, meaning all the levels are, well, from SMB1. I got footage of a few characters here so I could show off as much as possible. The first character I tried out was Link. After getting acquainted with his controls, I walk up to the first Goomba and, wow, he really is the most powerful character in gaming. But don't worry, I came back as Link again and I sent his sorry ass to the Shadow Realm with my trusty plank of wood. Hello? Oh, that's a sword? Ah, that makes more sense. As I was saying, I sent his sorry ass back to the Shadow Realm with my trusty sword. I then proceeded through the level and collected the Fire Flower, which gave me the ability to throw my sword at the enemy, which was pretty sweet. Then I got the star and decimated everything in my... Wait, is it playing the Dr. Mario theme? Okay then. I guess I get it if they didn't want to make Atari remixes for each character's theme, but why not just make one Atari remix of the actual star theme and use that? For the second level, I choose Bill from Contra. I just chose his default costume since I think it's the best out of all of his available costumes. Now, as you can see, Bill plays pretty differently from Link. He has his gun, which you can use while standing and crouching. As I collect the mushroom, you'll notice that I now have a machine gun. Now I don't. Then I got to this part where I had my older brother tell me that I could break the blocks with my gun since I had forgotten about that since the last time I played this. I kept going through the level, and when I got to this piranha plant, I lost my mushroom again because I'm bad at video games. Then, since I'm bad at video games, I died to this Goomba here. So I decided to play as Mega Man, since Bill didn't seem like the kind of character that I would be good with, and with one life left, I didn't want the game over. So I started playing the level as Mega Man, and oh, okay. Back to 1-1. This time I chose Blaster Master since I didn't remember how this character played. Remember when I said I was bad at video games? Anyway, after dying to the first Goomba again, I chose Luigi to try and play as someone familiar, and son of a bitch! Mario, I mean Toad, has to be my lucky charm, right? I made it through 1-1 and decided to quit before I started crying, but not before losing my mushroom to a fucking Goomba again. Anyway, I'm fine. All in all, this game is pretty fun. It's probably better if you can actually, get past the second level, but it was still fun nonetheless. I think it's time to get into the next game before I start crying and questioning my life choices, so here we go. This game is called Interactive Buddy. If you've ever played games like Beat the Boss or Kick the Buddy on mobile, then you've already got a pretty good idea of what this game is like. I used to absolutely love playing this game as a kid, which probably explains a lot. This game isn't violent, as in blood and gore, but it does give off some murderous tendencies vibes that as a kid aged 7 to 9 probably shouldn't be exposed to. However, with that being said, you can play this game without being violent. As you can see over here in the top left corner, there's a little face that happens to represent the buddy's mood. As you beat the shit out of the buddy, the face gets sadder and sadder, eventually becoming red. But there are ways to make the buddy's mood go up and up, to make the face happy and green instead. With me being me, though, I didn't get any footage of that. I chose to go the violent route, and I knocked this buddy around the room like crazy. The gameplay of this game is pretty simple. You can punch, tickle, or drag the buddy around the room to start with, which will get you money to buy things like costumes for the buddy, which are, yeah, you can tell this game was made during a very strange time. You also start with some different ways to beat the buddy senseless, like these grenades for example. Just select the grenade and aim it and then let it rip.
Huh? I'm about to blow.
I messed with this weak gravity vortex for a bit before realizing it was pretty useless. Then I pelted him with baseballs. I also went into the shop and bought a pistol, some Molotov cocktails, and a medieval flail. While reviewing the footage for this game, I found out you can also buy infants to throw at the buddy. Okay then. I then started to screw around with the new things I just bought. I threw some Molotovs at him and set him on fire. Then I shot him a couple times with the pistol. Yeah, just a couple of times. Then I bought a new power called Explode at Mouse. I had a pretty good idea of what this would do, but I just wanted to make sure. Yeah, that's pretty much what I expected. Then I went into another shop menu, this one being for modes, and I bought the Blood and Gore mode. I didn't expect a lot from this, considering how the game looked, and it somehow failed to meet my expectations. I never used this setting when I was a kid because I was scared of how it would look, and now I'm realizing that I'm a fucking idiot. The Blood and Gore was just some red pixels. That's it. But anyway, I messed around with some settings, such as how many objects can be on screen at once. I bumped that up to 10 just for the sake of fun. Then I went and bought some dynamic camera mode, which I didn't really know what it would do, so when I turned it on and the buddy started to jump around, the camera started to move with him. So I did some experimenting by throwing a bunch of baseballs, and holy hell is an earthquake. Fuck. Now that that's over, I went into the shop to buy a skin for Buddy. I bought the one called Napoleon, and I don't even know how to respond to this. He was just saying idiot over and over again, so I turned off the skin and put it back to just regular Buddy. I went back into the shop and something caught my eye while I was looking for more ways to murder him. The missiles. I immediately bought them as soon as I saw them because who doesn't love missiles, right? Buddy. Buddy does not love missiles. This was the last thing I did before ending the footage of Interactive Buddy. I really felt like an 8-year-old me again playing this. Just having mindless fun and not really thinking about what you're doing is sometimes just what a person needs. I think playing the game as a kid kind of shaped the way for me playing games like Call of Duty and Mortal Kombat due to the sort of violent nature of it. Anyway, time to get into the next and final game of this video. Well, I say game as if it's just one, but in reality it's an entire series of games, and that series is called Henry Stickmin. The Henry Stickmin games have always stuck out to me as some of the best Flash games out there. For this video, I'm going to be getting footage from the Steam release of these games, which is called the Henry Stickmin Collection, and features not only all of the Henry Stickmin Flash games with new and improved graphics, but also an entirely new game in the series. I'll only be going over the first 3 games in the series, so this video doesn't turn out to be 2 hours longer than intended. So the first game in this series is called Breaking the Bank, and it introduces the formula of these games very well. Basically, you'll be presented with a number of choices that can either end in a fail or progress you through the game. Each fail has funny little messages that correspond to whatever just happened. Take the shovel fail, for example. The fail itself goes like this. Then the fail text says never dig straight down, which as we all should know is a reference to the most important rule in Minecraft. These games love making references to things, as you'll see later. For now, let's just get through the rest of these choices. I'm going to be showing off all the fails for this game, since there's only one right answer. So next up is the explosives, then the teleporter, then the laser, and finally the wrecking ball. The final choice in this game is the disguise, which is the correct choice and causes you to win the game.
Eh? How did we lose one? I think we should throw it in the back, just to be safe. You ever wonder why there's a bank out here?
Well, I think it's supposed to be like more of a vault, you know?
Oh, that makes sense. Don't move.
The next game is called Escaping the Prison, which starts out with a cutscene.
Oh, you. You're free to go.
Hey, he's free to go.
Not really.
Oh man.
Got a package. Don't get your hopes up. We've already checked it for anything useful, haven't we, Dave? What? Yeah. Of course I checked it. I mean, if I didn't check it, I'd lose my job, and I don't want to lose my job. See you around.
After the cutscene, we're presented with our first choice of this game. What are we going to get out of the cake? The first fail I chose here was the NRG drink, which looks like it's going to be a win. Until Henry gets outside and, heart attack. The next fail is the teleporter. I really love how this one goes because he just gets shot and that's about it.
Ready? Fire! Oh, man.
Then there's the rocket launcher, which, I don't even know how this works, but damn does that look painful. Now, unlike the previous game, this game and all the games going forward have different paths you can take to get a win. For this video, I chose the cell phone path. A neat little detail that I liked is that when he's going through the phone, you can see that he has a babysitters category. Why would he need a babysitter? Who knows? But he goes into his attorneys category, and another little detail you can notice is that you can see a couple of different references here. There's A. Justice, which is most likely Apollo Justice from Phoenix Wright, J. Piante, which is probably a reference to Mario Sunshine, F. Reed, which is a reference to the movie Liar Liar with Jim Carrey, who plays the character Fletcher Reed, and there's also S. Goodman, which is obviously supposed to be Saul Goodman from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. And the one he calls is F. White, which, as you will see in a few seconds, is actually a parody of Phoenix Wright. The fails here are the evidence to show that Henry didn't hide himself in the bag in the previous game. Let's see what the attorney's badge will do.
What is this? It's evidence. And how exactly does this prove anything? Well, I was just kidding. Let me try. This is no time for jokes. I see no reason to further prolong this trial. I find the defendant, Henry Stickmin.
Well, damn, okay. Let's see what this one does.
Take that! What is this? It's evidence. And how exactly does this prove
Are all of
anything?
these fails just the same dialogue?
Take that! What is this?
Yeah, okay, there's 5
It's
of these.
evidence.
Let's just go to the right one,
And-
which is the bag that Henry hid in. This cutscene plays out, which is basically the attorney saying
Is that
that the
bag
witness
the
stuffed
defendant
Henry's
hid in?
body in the bag
Yes,
after beating
but
him
there's one
up,
thing that's been bothering me.
and then hid Henry in the
Defendant
bank
was
thinking
hiding
he
in
was
this
dead.
bag, then.
This gave us the lawyered up ending. And now on to the third game, Stealing the Diamond, otherwise known as O. This game starts with Henry attempting to break into a museum to steal a diamond, as the name of the game suggests. I chose the sneaky route, and I accidentally clicked on the pickaxe first, which isn't a fail, so let's just skip to when I clicked the right thing instead of being a fucking idiot. So we sneak in, and the first fail I chose here was the Jumble Hoppers, which is a reference to the game Pilot Wings. I love the music that plays here, by the way, because it's just so hyper. Then I used the anti-gravity cap. Why wouldn't he just take it off when he got up to the top of the building? Is he stupid? Then there's the shrink ray. No way, it's Earthworm Jim, guys. Look at him. And finally, we have the Liquidificator, made by the infamous Gadget Gabe. This is one of my favorite fails in the entire series because of the way Henry just dies and the game just pauses for a bit before showing the fail text. Alright, now here's the pickaxe. which, if you couldn't tell already, is a reference to Minecraft. These two guards are actually talking about the previous game, where this guy actually was one of the guards who was supposed to check to see if the cake had anything in it, but he didn't, so he got fired and now works here. His name is Dave Panpa, and I love him. So the first fail we have on this screen is the gun from the case. Henry tries to shoot these guys, but since it's just a display gun, it doesn't actually do anything. I also just love the face he makes here. I got the bomb fail earlier when I clicked on the pickaxe by accident, but I didn't do it again, so here's that. Pay attention to the fail text here. It'll come back up in a little bit. Alright, let's go to the retro room. Everything in here is a reference to something. We got a Jiggy from Banjo-Kazooie, the Ocarina, the Wind Waker, and these panpipes, all from Legend of Zelda, and you can even see a blue shell from Mario Kart here in the corner. The four choices we have, though, are a crowbar from Half-Life, a good ball, which is obviously a Pokeball from Pokemon, the alien, which is a Metroid from, well, Metroid, and the mushroom, which is a mushroom from Mario. Fun fact, in the actual Flash version of this game, these were all the real things from each game. So the Metroid wasn't just called Alien, it was actually called a Metroid and looked just like the Metroid. They had to change these things due to copyright issues. So I did the good ball fail first, and this is a really cool fail. The guard sends out his friend Joe, and then Henry sends out, oh no, oh dear god, oh no, oh this isn't good. Anyway, the alien is a funny fail as well. I love the muffled screaming you can hear from Henry. And then the crowbar, I don't have much to say about this other than and then there's the mushroom, which makes Henry massive, and this cutscene plays out. Remember earlier when I told you the fail text would come back up again? Well, here we see a live dinosaur come out of this egg, and the fail text saying, why would they keep live bombs in a museum, kind of goes against this, because like, why is there just an actual dinosaur egg here? Anyway, we're then introduced to the CCC, the Center for Chaos Containment.
Sir? You might want to come look at this. I'm getting chaos readings at 10.6. It's coming from the museum.
There's a funny little joke here where this guy says,
It's over 9?
and the guy is just like,
Yeah. I'm leaving this decision up to you, Corporal. Just hit one of those buttons to deal with this pressing situation. Who's watching TV? Get back to work.
so then we choose a way to deal with the chaos. The fails here are pretty funny, so let's just play them out since I don't really have much to say about them. Alright, so the one that works here is this one, and I don't understand why. What is this thing doing besides causing more chaos? I thought it was supposed to contain the chaos, but no, it's just breaking the building even more. Anyway, Henry runs away from the museum. and the diamond just so happens to fall right next to him, causing us to get the just plain epic rank. Anyway guys, that's all I have for you today. I'm sorry I haven't uploaded in a while. Things have been kind of hectic recently. I started writing this script in like early August or late July, and as of finishing this, the election just ended. So it's taken me a bit of time to actually finish writing this script. But it'll be worth it in the end because I really enjoy playing the games and making this video, and that's all that really matters in the end. Flash games have been a part of my life for so long, and it's so cool to see them preserved for everyone to play, especially newer generations of kids, because while games like Fortnite and Call of Duty may be fun, to me, Flash games will always reign supreme over any AAA game. If you guys enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, please consider subscribing and liking the video. I'd also love to hear your personal stories about Flash games in the comments, and maybe give me some ideas for some videos you'd like me to make. I was thinking of making a video like this, but for indie games, since I feel like indie games are a lot more fun and easier to support than AAA games, made by big name companies such as Blizzard or Sony, so let me know if you want to make that. Anyway, I hope you had a good time watching this video and going down this nostalgic rabbit hole with me, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.